Good morning, garden people. Welcome back to the channel. It's so great to have you here. My name is Alex. If we've never met, I am growing in Missouri, zone 6B/7A. We tend to be more of a 6B in the winter and more of a 7A in the summer. It gets real hot and real cold, the extremes. Today is the 10th of July, and I just have a few garden chores that I need to get done this morning. Maybe plant a few seeds, and I thought, why not take you guys along with me? I also need to harvest a few cucumbers before it gets too hot today. I'm planting seeds because it has been raining for the past 30 hours basically, sprinkling on and on, heavy rains, light rains. There was a hurricane that made landfall in Texas, and somehow, in the craziness of the United States weather, ended up right over where I live in Missouri. So it covered Texas, Missouri, Arkansas, went over some of Tennessee, some of Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois. That's the craziest hurricane path I have ever heard of in my life, but we got some much needed rain. So let's first harvest these cucumbers. So I've been waiting for this one. I could have harvested these yesterday, but I slept in and then, ow, those ones are really pokey. I'm gonna have to get a clipper for that. I could have harvested them yesterday, but I woke up late and then we went ahead and got to work on the new house. I have to set you down to grab this. There's one. So that one was a muncher cucumber, as well as this one. But I also have two Marketmore cucumbers that are looking pretty good. I'll take both of them, actually. I'm going to take both of these. We'll probably have some salads or something within the next couple days. And I'll leave all the tiny guys, because these three, the two I already got, mostly the first one, and these two are the biggest. Oh, this is so hard. Got it. So here's a good example of my umbrella trellising. I hope you can see it. This cucumber plant grows all the way up. Oh, it's not even that one. This cucumber plant is growing all the way up and over there, and it's actually this same plant. So it went over the wood and is growing back downward. That's called umbrella trellising. So these are onions, and if you can notice, the necks of my onions are breaking. With onions, when the neck starts to break like that is when you know they're ready to harvest. But if you notice, my onions are very, very small, and that is because I left them in tiny, like 2-inch by 2-inch containers until the end of May, I think. And they did not appreciate that, so I didn't figure they'd get terribly big. I've been using them for the greens a lot, so I'll probably harvest the onions within the next week or so, and I'll probably take the ones with broken necks now, because if you let the necks break and then let them sit in the garden, it's just a higher likelihood for fungal diseases and insects to start attacking your plants when they're already stressed out. So let's get those onions. So this one's broken. Look at that tiny little onion. And it's tiny, but I grew it and I'm happy, so I don't care. Oh, that one wasn't quite broken yet. Oops. This one's about to be broken. What about here? We've got one broken neck. See, look, you can tell these were in a container. Like, these are still square like the container was, the little root ball. Alright, we'll leave these ones and that one because the necks are okay, but when they break, they'll need harvested. Here are the onions that I gathered. Like I said, They are terribly small, but this is my first year growing onions, so I'm happy that I got anything. Beautiful. My big old sunflower is continually blooming up there. It is very tall. Like, I can barely get it in the same shot as me. That's ridiculous. This amaranth is hanging down and touching the ground. Gorgeous. These two habanada peppers were doing so bad for a long time, and then all of a sudden just freaked out. So now there's a ton of peppers down near the bottom. I'm gonna wait till those ripen to pick them, maybe make a salsa. Oh my goodness. I didn't even realize that I have squash that needs harvested. Well, that was unknown. There's this one. Ow, pokey. Nice. And there's this one with a fasciated blossom, which just means multiple blossoms fused together to make this weird conjoined guy. Okay, this tomato in the tomato cage is the one that is bothering me. It is a Roma tomato. It has some green fruits on it and a few red ones, but the fruits are all really small and taking a long time to ripen. Some of them have blossom end rot from all the rain. And this plant is in this janky tomato cage that has been getting in my way in multiple ways. So we're gonna remove that. So I am just going to go right down in to where it leaves from the ground, or the soil, and cut it right off. Okay, and then I'm just gonna try to just grab the tomato cage and bring the whole tomato with it. Got it. Got it. Just gonna lay it down and get the ripe tomatoes. Ow. There we are. And this can go back in the trash pile where it should have stayed. One fell. Hey guys, what's up? It is evening now and I am back home from work. I didn't get anything planted in the garden this morning because I ran out of time faster than I expected I would, as I always do in the garden. So I do think I'm gonna plant stuff tomorrow morning, but I do have some garden mail. So this box is from Johnny's Selected Seeds, or yeah, Johnny's Selected Seeds. They have a lot of hybrids on their website, and I did get 3 F1 hybrids. So an F1 hybrid just means that the seeds that I am using are the first generation of seeds produced after cross-pollinating 2 different plants. So for example, the Katrina cucumber is an F1, so they might have crossed a, these aren't the correct varieties, but just for the sake of example, they might have crossed a Market More cucumber and a lemon cucumber to make a Katrina cucumber, and the cucumbers that they made produce seeds, and these are those seeds. Now the positive part of having hybrids, genetic hybrid seeds, is that they are usually more tolerant to certain things like stress, blight, insects, diseases, fungal diseases, bacterial diseases. They're usually more resistant to things like that, and also they're specifically generated usually to grow in zones where they're not usually able to. For example, the broccoli that I bought is called the Bell Star broccoli and is supposed to be very heat resistant, whereas broccoli will usually bolt at the first sign of 75-degree weather. So let me show you the 3 seed packets that I got from Johnny's. All right. So they came in this little box with paper wrapped around them. And they're right here. So this is the Katrina cucumber. The Katrina cucumber I've heard a lot about from Whispering Willow Farm, and they seem to say that they are a very high producer. They also are self-fertile flowers, so they don't have to be pollinated. And they can be harvested small or large for snacking cucumbers or slicing cucumbers. They are a greenhouse variety, so they're very heat and humidity resistant. So even though I'm not going to be growing them in a greenhouse, my environment is kind of that of a greenhouse. It's very humid outside, very hot, and then gets cooler at night. So that should be a good seed variety for me. Whispering Willow Farm is based out of Conway, Arkansas, which is about 3 hours south of me. So that's why I decided to go with the variety she likes, because I thought, you know, our area is kind of the same. Also, the back of the packet says that these cucumbers are seedless unless they're pollinated by like a bee or something from a different variety of cucumber that does have seeds. So that's interesting. So the next variety I got is the Bolero carrot, which was also a recommendation that I found through Whispering Willow Farm. Her carrots are always really big, really beautiful, long, bright in color, and I need to have that. Carrots are a struggle for me because it gets so hot during the day that they either don't taste very good when I harvest them, or they struggle to germinate because the soil dries out no matter how much I moisten it. Also, I wanted to try pelleted carrot seeds. So these carrot seeds have a natural clay coating on the outside of them so that I can actually individually seed them instead of oversowing and thinning out later. They were a little bit more expensive, but we'll see if I like it. So this is what those seeds look like on the Bolero carrots. They're smaller than a pea still, but carrot seeds are really, really small. So there should just be 1 seed in each of these. And the clay coating will dissolve away within the first few days, and carrot seeds usually take about 2 weeks to germinate anyway, so they shouldn't be bothered. Alright, the last variety that I got from Johnny's is the Bell Star broccoli, and I already talked a little bit about how it is supposed to be heat resistant and produce really nice, full, dense heads of broccoli, and then once you harvest the main head of the broccoli, you'll get these little side shoots, kind of like broccolini, that you can then harvest and also use for cooking. It is the next morning, but I forgot to say that the one negative part, I'm sure there's more negatives, but the one main negative part about growing F1 hybrid seeds is that if I grow out the plant and then save seed from the fruits that I produce, the seeds that I save most likely will not produce the same plant or fruit as the seeds that I grew, because these are a direct cross, and then the next seeds would be like the next generation of continued breeding of one plant rather than continually crossing to different plants to get the seeds. So I got the Katrina cucumber, the storage Bolero carrot, and the Bell Star broccoli from Johnny's Seeds. I also have this package from Hudson Valley Seed Company. This is the first time that I've ever ordered from either of these seed companies. And they both seem good so far. Both of the websites were nice. They both came in a good amount of time. Hudson Valley was faster, but not by very much. Hudson Valley was also less expensive though, so get what you can, get what you pay for. These hybrid seeds are obviously more expensive because they're hybridized to do more for you, do better. So let's open this other package. So at the recommendation of Jess from Roots and Refuge, she talks about these silver slicer cucumbers quite a lot. They're whitish cucumbers on the outside, and they are supposed to be very heat tolerant. So I got a packet of those. They only had the art packs available, but I'm not sad about that. And then this is a Provider bush bean, and I just knew that I was running low on green bean seeds, so I picked those up. Hey guys, what is up? It is the afternoon and I need to plant some seeds. Is the afternoon the best time to plant seeds? No, absolutely not, because when you plant seeds, you want them to stay moist while they're in the ground, and in the afternoon, the sun is out and it's hot and the soil gets a little dry. But I will come water my garden either tonight in the evening or tomorrow early in the morning before I go to work. So I just brought some beans out here, all bush beans. Oh. That one's actually a pole bean. I'll wait on that one. So 2 bean varieties, not 3, that I'm just gonna plant in the garden real fast while I'm home on lunch. Because if I don't do it at all, I'm not gonna get any plants. So in the afternoon and then water them in a bit is better than nothing. So let's plant some beans. Right here is where I took out that Roma tomato plant, and I'm just gonna fill it with some bush beans for now. Because I don't want another Roma tomato. I'm gonna have to move my entire garden soon. So I'm not gonna try and plant anything else that is going to take a long time to provide anything or become a very large plant. Because it will be hard to move the large plants. I'm already gonna struggle enough. I shouldn't make it worse. So I'm just gonna fill up this whole space here with French fillet bush beans. Alright, you guys are literally being held in place by a tomato plant right now, and I think that's very fitting. So, welcome to my garden. We're just gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, and I don't like odd numbers, so 12. And then just rub them in like that. I skipped this area right here because there's a tomato stump there. I'll have to cut it out more or let it compost in place, but that's fine. And then we'll just move the mulch back over to keep what moisture it does have right now. And what I do when I'm quick planting and don't have time to make a tag is I hold the packet and point at the container and take a picture. There we go. So now I know those are there. Let's get that mulch moved in place better. That tomato out of there. There we go. And then I'm going to take these purple teepee beans, which is misleading. I'll take my picture real fast. It's misleading because to me it says teepee, so like I feel like they should be pole beans. But the first thing it says is bush habitat requires no staking. So weird choice of name for a bush bean. But that's fine. So let's move all this mulch. This is where I just harvested my onions from. And actually, stupid me, I left my onions outside for a full 24 hours after I harvested them, sitting on the tailgate of the truck that I use as a table. So, that was stupid of me, but I think they're okay. They're inside now and in front of a fan to help them dry out. So hopefully they'll be alright. And they are tiny, but I don't use a lot of onions anyway. And tiny is better than nothing. Alright, let's get some beans in here. These ones look like this. The other ones were little white beans, but in this container we're gonna go... Oh, it's loose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So same amount as the other container, 12 in both. So then we'll just spread all this mulch back out. And I didn't plant those beans too terribly deep, but beans also get tall really fast, so I'm not really worried about them running out of energy to break up through the soil. So there we go. And I noticed that these onions are flopping over and will not be getting any bigger. So let's harvest them real fast. Tiny little baby onions, but that's okay. Is that the only ones? Here's another one. And this one isn't broken yet, so we will just take these baby onions. Okay guys, I'm glad you could be with me to harvest some onions and get some green beans planted. I have to go back to work. Just noticed some squirrel digging, those little jerks. But I have to go back to work. Thank you guys so much for coming along with me and spending time in my garden over the last 2 days. I really appreciate you guys being here, and I can't wait to see you on the next one.